Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
Hello, everybody. It's Cody here from Rasslin Rage, and I am joined by none other than Rude Boy. But I'm going to ask him some questions in a few minutes. Before I do that, please smash the thumbs up and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. So, my man, Rude Boy, what's going on, dude?
Rasslin Rage is what's going on.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, first of all, thank you so much for coming on Rasslin Rage.
This is my pleasure. It really is. I enjoy watching all the other interviews, and yeah, I'm very honored that you're having me here. Thank you.
Right on, man. So, you know, not only are you part of the professional wrestling business, I mean, because you are, not only have you been involved in wrestling for quite a long time, but you're a wrestling promoter, you know.
Yes.
You know, and there's other, I see you do a lot other things outside of just wrestling. Like you have a radio station or something like that. What's that all about?
We do a show, me and my son, Carlito. We do a show, it's called Cruising the Barrio. And basically what it is, we went to California and we noticed all the young kids in East Los Angeles were all into like oldies and shit. Oh, can I cuss, man? All right. They were all into oldies. So we were like, wow, that's crazy, man. And we're talking about like 25-year-olds, 23-year-olds, and they only listen to oldies. And we were like, wow, there's not even nowhere that you can get that in Detroit. And so we brought it along and we gave it a shot. And 7 years later, it's going great. We're excited about it. And, you know, a lot of people seem to be tuning in every Friday and Saturday nights on Cave Radio Broadcasting. It's a free app. You can download it. And we're there from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. And like we just play all the old school classics, and you know we'll have interviews left and right on there. I mean, we have everyone from Ray Parker Jr. on there to Ric Flair's been on there. So I mean, you never know who you're gonna get.
Yeah, now, Ric Flair. So tell me about that. You had Ric Flair on your show?
We had Ric Flair on our show. We recorded it when we were at the Gathering of the Juggalos a few years ago when he was a special host for the main stage there, and it didn't last very long because people started throwing stuff, and so he took his $10,000 and left.
Right. That's awesome. I've met Rick a couple times, man, and I mean, obviously, you know, he's not like, he doesn't know me or anything like that, but definitely a cool dude. It was awesome to meet a legend like Rick.
I mean, he's a legend. He's cool and all, but that was long before I found out that he was such a racist. So that's where I have a problem with him, you know. And I've you know, like I hate to rain on people's parades,
right?
When I tell them this. However, you know, you can look on. There's the shoot interview with Teddy Long. And Teddy Long tells this horrible story of Ric Flair. And it just like, it's gut-wrenching and it's sad. And the sad part is guys like Kevin Sullivan and guys like Gary Hart all co-signed on this story. And it was just like, oh, man, that sucks, man. One of my favorite wrestlers, man. You know, and unfortunately in this business, I've been in this business for over 30 years now. And unfortunately, you see a lot of stuff that you can't sometimes even fathom happens, because you know that old saying, that old saying, Cody, is that, you know, it's always, the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
that is such a true statement, because there's a lot of things that I seen in wrestling where it broke my heart. It really did, you know, and one of those is the Ric Flair story, you know, and it bothers me to this day, man, you know. And the other one was Hulk Hogan, man, you know, and where they had the actual tapes out, you know,
yeah,
him using that word and the way he, and it disgusts me that a business like WWE, which is publicly owned, by the way, allows that just to be swept under the rug and just say, oh, whatever, man, we're going to make money. You know, but where's the dignity in not in wrestling, in life? Where's the dignity? Where's the, hey, man, you know, let's teach our kids right from wrong? Whatever happened to that, you know? And unfortunately, we live in a world where, man, it's so cynical. It's so, you know, come on, man. I mean, we've got a nut running the White House, bro. I mean, come on, man.
Right, for sure.
Sorry for jumping on my soapbox, like.
No,
but,
man, that's what I do. I appreciate it. No, for real though, because I haven't. You've enlightened me for a moment because I never listened to this interview that he did, the Teddy Long. So I'm now going to have to go back and check that out.
Yes, it's on Kayfabe Memories. And I highly recommend it. I really do. I was, in fact, it was Carlito, my son, who hit me up and he was like, man, I hate to do this to you, but you got to watch this interview. And I was like, okay. And he didn't prepare me for what it was. And I was like, oh, man, this sucks, man. However, all these years I've been co-signing on Ric Flair. And let me also say this, Cody, I'm not taking nothing away from his greatness in the ring, because he was probably one of the greatest in-ring performers I've ever seen live ever, besides the original Sheik. And but you know, hey man, you know, sometimes you got to call a spade, man, you know. And I can't co-sign on that. Some other people can, and they just overlook that because of who this man is. But that shit don't hold water with me. I don't subscribe to that.
Well, and everybody, you know, was a Hulk Hogan fan at one time, but I've it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's not a big deal to me anymore. Before it was like, oh, Hulk Hogan. Now after everything happened, I'm just kind of like, I was on the fence for a while. I really was, and then WWE let him back, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, you know, like, you say it's wrong. You let him go, but you let him back now.
It's that almighty dollar. That's the creed of all evil.
Right. Well, you know, so let's talk a little bit about international. All right, your organization, International Bigtime Wrestling. So tell me a little bit about how you came up. I mean, we know, like you said, you've been in the business for 30 years, right?
It's true.
How did you transition from a wrestler to promoter?
Well, I'll tell you, it goes all the way back to the old days. Well, not the old. I hate using that term. It goes back to right, because that just makes me old. But it goes all the way back to 1989. Believe it or not, 1989 on West Verner Highway in Southwest Detroit at a building called the Azteca Hall. And Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe brought wrestling to my neighborhood. And, of course, the father of DBA and the grandfather of MM3 and a wrestling dynasty. And he seen the enthusiasm as a young kid, how I wanted to be involved in the wrestling business. So he took me under his wing. He taught me everything. I mean, he taught me everything from selling tickets, setting up chairs, putting up posters where they should be, advertising. He taught me the art of promoting. So years go by. I got to wrestle in some great places. I've been in the ring with some true legends. And when I felt it was around 2007, I was still a part of TNA Wrestling with Insane Clown Posse. And when I came back to Detroit, I remember saying, you know what sucks is the kids in my neighborhood can't afford to go to wrestling at Joe Louis Arena or the Palace because it's just too damn expensive for a family of 5 to go to those shows. So, you know, I came up with this great idea. Hey, you know, let's put on a little show. We found a building in Detroit, Southwest Detroit, the Palomino Club. and allow us to run these shows. What, did you lose me? Hello? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So anyways, this club in Southwest Detroit, we convinced them to give us the building for free. In exchange, they would take all of the alcohol and soda sales and pizza and all that crap. And we started something really nice. We started something really big. However, we made a promise to each other. This was me and my brother. We made a promise to each other that no tickets would ever be over $15. No child will ever pay to come to any one of our shows, ever. You know, Cody, any kids that come to our door through that front door never pay to get into an I.B.W show. As long as you're 12 years old and under, and you have an adult supervising you, because of course we're not running a daycare center either.
Right.
And we do this because we want to get kids excited about independent wrestling. A lot of these kids have never seen independent wrestling.
Right, yeah.
So
And
like,
all they see is what's on TV.
exactly. And then when it's up close in their face, they're like, wow, this is crazy. So throughout the years, you know, I wrestled, like I said, a lot of big names, and I was blessed to be with a lot of big names. And those same people, I went back to them and I say, hey, listen, man, you know, I got this promotion going on, and I explained to them how we wanted to keep the ticket prices down. So a few of them, not all of them, but a few of them agreed to come in for me for damn near peanuts, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, Kamala came in for us for a plane ticket, and so he could sell his pictures because he's seen the vision that we had back then. And Kamala was one of my old opponents that I wrestled a whole lot of times. And so what we're doing with International Big Time Wrestling is we're just trying to give, you know, hey, there's a lot of independent wrestling shows in the area.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot.
May I say this? May I say this? There's way too many. There's way too many. The reason why, because nobody has to pay fucking dues in wrestling anymore. It used to be a secret society. When I started in this wrestling business, I was the ring announcer for Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe. I went in the dressing room with made motherfuckers, with royalty in wrestling. Boba Brazil, The Sheik, Sabu, Rob Van Dam. I mean, we all were together. And it was such a secret society, Cody, that those guys wouldn't even speak to me, even though I was in the dressing room. And I got it because I didn't earn my stripes. I didn't earn that right for no one to speak to me. And I'll never forget it. We were in Fort Wayne, Indiana one day, me and Violent J, Joe Bruce. We were on the show. We were on some show in Fort Wayne, Indiana that Malcolm took us to. There was, I don't know, 10 people in the crowd. So we knew we weren't getting nothing, and we only had $10 for gas or something. And I remember the Sheik looking over. And I remember the Sheik looking over at me and saying, hey, are you going to Denny's? Oh, no, he said, hey, are you hungry? And I looked behind me. I was like, is he talking to somebody? Because he never spoke to me. And he said, are you hungry? I said, he said, we're all going to Denny's. Do you want to go? Right then and there, I knew I was in because I had paid my dues. But up until that point, Cody, those guys didn't even speak to me. No, none of them. None of them.
Wow.
And even though we went to Denny's and we didn't have a dime in our pockets, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm ordering water. And I remember Sheik looking at me and saying, I thought you said you were hungry. I said, no, I'm good. I'm good, sir. And anyways, long story short, he ordered us a meal, paid for it. We knew we were in. Now, fast forward to 2019. Now, motherfuckers, all they got to do is not be trained, not pay dues, go on eBay, buy yourself a ring, find yourself a VFW hall that's going to rent to you, and run wrestling. And that's what is killing this business. There's no, and I don't want to sound like the old man, hey, I used to walk to school in 10 inches of snow and all that crap. I don't want to sound like that guy. However, there was a foundation was built on professional wrestling, and it was something that was protected. And I'm not a co-signer on what happens in wrestling today. It sickens me, a lot of stuff that I see in wrestling today. That's why, I said to myself, I said to my brother, and I said to my son, I says, we're going to run international big time wrestling traditionally. We're going to do it the old school way. Hey, everybody thinks they know. Okay, let them think they know. However, we'll never tell. We're not. Hey, go ahead and ask David Copperfield about his magic. He's going to tell you, go fuck yourself and get out of his face. And that's pretty much what Rudy Hill. That's pretty much what Rudy Hill will tell you as well.
Right.
Straight up. And we're the Temptations. We're the Four Tops. They can be Drake. They can be Migos. We're content with being old school tradition. But let me also say this: we have an audience for it. We have an audience for it, Cody, where a simple arm drag gets a pop at our shows. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud that we have a good guy and a bad guy. And I'm proud that my guys don't got to go out there and tell people to go fuck themselves and to use cursing and to use any sexual innuendos. None of that shit. None of it. They go out there and wrestle. They go out there and handle business. And that's what's missing in this business today, Cody, is there's no psychology. All of the schools teach you how to flip and who can outwork the other guy. Here's the problem. The wrestlers are working each other instead of working the crowd because there's no psychology. No one's teaching it.
That's
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. That's wow, that's crazy, dude. They just like broke some shit down.
I just come from it with a different form of passion. Not to say that the people that are buying those rings on eBay and are renting those VFW halls don't have the love and passion. However, don't compare yourself to me, because see, I've rubbed shoulders with the royalty, and I've stepped in the ring with true royalty, and I've bled with true royalty. So don't ever compare your shit to what we're doing, because in my eyes, and let me say this, and I'm gonna piss a lot of people off, and I really don't give a fuck. Okay, because I'm
Right
too
on.
old. Because I'm too old to give a fuck. First off, in my eyes, there is 3 promotions in Detroit. In my eyes, there's International Big Time Wrestling, there's Pro Wrestling All Stars, and there's I.C.P. The rest, whatever, man. I love Bubba Luscious, by the way, and I love his promotion. But Bubba Luscious doesn't run, like every single month. However, I would definitely put him in with the promotions that I love. The rest of them all, they can go fuck off. I don't care. I really don't care. No one's going to make or break what we're doing. And we're proud that we don't have no one with that collar around us. We're proud of that fact. We're proud of the fact that we call our own shots. A lot of guys, and I'm not going to name no names, but they tell me things, and some veterans, they tell me some shit, and they're like, man, you wouldn't believe the way this guy treats blah, 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 and stuff. I'm like, well, why don't you go and tell him fuck yourself? And they're like, well, what? Are they going to stop you from living? What the fuck, man? It's wrestling. Who gives a shit?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I'm most proud of, Cody, is I've always been that way. I've always been that way. And a lot of people hate me for it because I wasn't the guy who did the ass kissing. I wasn't that guy. I was the guy who said, if I thought it was the shits, I'll let you know, man, that sucks. And I'll tell you to your face if I have a problem with you. See, a lot of guys, the problem is there's all this politics behind the scenes, and they all talk shit behind each other's backs. Instead of being men, instead of being fucking women, and looking at someone and say, hey, man, I got a problem with you, man. Let's resolve this. Let's resolve this. Whether I'm right or wrong, let's talk about this. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I do.
And
I most definitely do.
that's where you separate the men from the boys. You know what I'm saying? And again, everybody, as far as I'm concerned, everybody has they have their audience. Everyone has their audience. I'm so proud when I go to XICW. I'm so proud because I'm going to tell you something about XICW. And I don't care what anybody says. Oh, look at Rudy's kissing Malcolm's ass or whatever. Malcolm's my fucking little brother, first off. Okay? His father took me under his wing as much as I was his son. And I know, because I watched Malcolm Monroe II. I watched Junior. I watched him struggle. However, continuously run shows like clockwork. When I canceled shows, he was the one who still consistently ran shows. And guess what, Cody? The payoff is right now because, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. They're the #1 promotion in all of Detroit. They really are. I like to think that we're a close.
They're awesome. I mean, I love XI, dude. I love XI. I was just there Sunday.
I do too. I love everything that they're doing. I love the wrestling with the vet. I love all of that stuff. But more than that, I'm proud to see that the Monroe dynasty is still continuing. And believe it or not, it's continuing in international big-time wrestling because, see, without Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe, there wouldn't be no Rudy Hill. There wouldn't be no Rude Boy. There wouldn't be no international big-time wrestling. Not at all. Because he taught me those ropes. And he taught me what was right and wrong. And you know what, Cody? I used to be like, me and A.T. Hook, we used to be like, man, what is he talking about? Is he crazy? But guess what? He was right. He was right. What we should have done and what we did do, which I'm proud to say, we kept our mouth shut and our ears open. And that's how we learned this business. And ultimately, it is a business. You know, you want to make money. You want to do your thing. And there's wrestling for everybody. For us, it's traditional wrestling. Like I said, a good guy, a bad guy, and that's it. And then you've got some other promotions that have a whole deathmatch hardcore show. They've got an audience for that. And then, of course, you've got, all of the other ones that have comedy spots and all of that stuff. I'm cool with all of that. However, I'm not into dick spots. I'm not into wrestling with fucking invisible men. I'm not into that shit. I'm into, it's just straight bullshit, to be honest. And then you talk about, Pro Wrestling All-Stars. Me and Steve Rivera, we not always see eye to eye. However, the man is doing his thing. And I can say it, man, I'm really proud of him. And I'm proud of what he's doing consistently. Again, here's a guy who fucking paid dues, man. And again, that him and Malcolm are one of the only two, and Bubba are one of the only 3 promoters that I even help promote. Whenever I see a poster, I repost it, I retag it, all that stuff. Why? Because I believe in what they're doing. You see, and I like to think that they give us the same respect. Well, I know they do because I've seen it. And having Malcolm and MM3 as my tag team champions is really it's such amazing that we still get to work together as a family. And A.T. Hook is a part of it, and Christopher Monroe is a part of it, and Uncle Bug is a part of it. So it's like the old days of Midwest Championship Wrestling, where I started at, and it's exciting, man. And we got this new thing where we're putting together a TV show. We're doing a weekly television show.
I like that.
Yes, starting in January. We're going to announce the 2 dates. It's going to be back-to-back dates where it's going to be free to get in for TV tapings, and they're going to be all-day TV tapings, and we're going to be bringing in a lot of fresh faces, a lot of new faces, and it's going to be ran on, well, I can't really say where because I don't want to fuck it up,
Right, right.
Second off, I want to make sure that the fucking ink is dry before we do anything. However, it is a major a major combat sports network, and it'll also be shown on our brothers roxtv.com. They're doing all types of entertainment shows, and we'll just be a part of their content, and we're excited about it. And the difference between what we're doing and what other promoters do in the Midwest area, Michigan area, and all that stuff, because we do see some of them on YouTube and all that. One is lighting is going to be right, sound is going to be right. It's going to be like you're going to be watching fucking professional wrestling. You're not going to be watching it with some grainy ass lighting and some audio where it's none of that shit. None
Yeah,
of that shit.
that's good. That's good.
Right. We're actually going to give a product where our fans and our people are proud to say, hey, you should watch that because it's really fucking good.
I like that. That's awesome. You know, I want to, you talked a lot about Sweet Daddy, Malcolm Monroe and the Monroes and, in XICW. And, interesting enough, I have interviewed both MM3 and DBA. Yeah. And, I talked to DBA a little bit about bringing back wrestling to the Lincoln Park Community Center with the memorial show for Sweet Daddy, Malcolm Monroe, and the Sheik.
That was Steve Rivera's idea.
Right, yeah, and he did give him credit for that in the interview that I did with him. And I asked DBA, and I know that you had to have been in the Lincoln Park Community Center at some point in time.
About all those shows, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what is a memory, like one of your favorite memories from the Lincoln Park Community Center?
Oh man, my favorite memory was we had a double main event booked, and it was Sabu against Too Cold Scorpio, and the Sheik against Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah the Butcher no-showed, and I remember Sweet Daddy looking and saying, "Well, you know what I got to do, kid." And I was like, "Oh no, man, no." And I remember one of the memories that caught my eye that night was watching Sweet Daddy's family be so upset that it bothered me. Even though I've been in the business, it really bothered me, man, because once again, like I said, Cody, they're family to me, and when I see, his daughters crying and stuff, and that really bothered me. However, it was a magical night. It was a night where, man, we were like, look at how packed out this place is. This is great. It was, it was one of those nights where everything was going great until Sabu and Too Cold Scorpio broke the ring.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
But they continued the match and once again put on a 5-star match. It was amazing. It was great. It was great. And I got memories of Lincoln Park Community Center when I was a kid too, when my dad took me there. And ironically, the match that stands out to me when I was a kid, Cody, was Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe. Yes, I went and seen him as a 9-year-old kid there.
Wow.
Against Mohammed Saad. Now, Mohammed Saad was an Arabic guy from Dearborn. His whole family was there. Malcolm's whole family was there. And my hand to God, there was a full-fledged riot in that building. I remember my dad grabbing me to get me out of the way from the fist fights going on in the stands. True story.
Wow, that's insane, man. That's crazy.
Yes.
That's awesome. So I wanted to talk a little bit, we talked about international and we talked, throughout talking, there was a little bit of talk of, the Juggalos, man. We got to talk about the Juggalos, bro, so one of the co-hosts of Michigan Independent Weekly, he's not here right now, but one of the co-hosts, he's got a Juggalo tattoo and he, how did you get involved? How'd you get involved with all those guys?
Well, Joe Bruce and I, Violent J, we were friends. We became friends when we were 14 years old. We met each other, believe it or not, at a wrestling event at Joe Louis Arena. The main event was Hulk Hogan against Kamala. And we were out back and we were getting autographs. And we just started kicking it. Next thing you know, I'm staying the night at his house in Ferndale. I've never been outside of Southwest Detroit, so I didn't know how, in my eyes, rich suburban white kids lived, and he didn't know how Chicano Mexican kids lived in the neighborhood, in the hood. So we were fascinated by each other's stories. However, we were common because both of us had nothing. We were both poor, and we were both coming from neighborhoods that were really pretty much the same. Other than not having a bunch of Mexicans in his neighborhood, there were a bunch of Arabs and there were a bunch of blacks. So the integratedness we were just the same. We didn't realize it though. We felt we lived miles apart, and we didn't really. So anyways, he used to make these tapes of rapping. And I was like, man, damn, you guys are really good. Him and both of his boys, John and Joey. And I was like, man, you guys are really good. So I said, make me up a couple of those, and I'm going to give them to my brother so he can take them to school, see if he can sell some of them for a couple bucks each. They were just cassettes. So anyways, man, my brother came back, and he was like, man, I need like 20 of these. And we're like, huh? So long story short, I was there from the day one when Psychopathic Records was invented in Alex Abyss's mom's basement. And fast forward to 2019, I'm still very much a part of Psychopathic Records. I'm not there full time like I used to be. However, I'm still there. I'm the booker of Juggalo Championship Wrestling. I'm the promoter of that. And it gives me great pleasure that they put that responsibility into my hands. But like I said, 3 platinum and 9 gold records later, they're still in it. They're still in it 27 years later, when the music, think about this, Cody, the music revolving door has kept going around and around. And somehow, by the power of the Juggalos, in 2019, I.C.P. is still here and still packing gatherings of the Juggalos. Man, we just did Gathering of the Juggalos with 10,000 Juggalos. We're getting ready, Carlito and I, because Carlito's I.C.P.'s DJ. We're getting ready to go to New York City for the annual Christmas bash, the Big Ballers Bash, which is going to be on a yacht. Check this out, Cody.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's going to be docked in front of the Statue of Liberty, bro. And that's going down on December 21st. Man. So, we're still very much doing a lot of stuff. And we've got some announcements that we're going to be making about JCW coming up real soon. And exciting times, man. We're just a little older, but we ain't slowed down for nothing.
Well, I mean, it's what a great time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, it's real hot right now. I mean, hot, it got a little cold for a little bit, and now it's hot again. But man, wrestling all the time.
I've watched that roller coaster go up and down, and just when it's down, my people in my circle, I say, you guys know, man, it's gonna go right back up. You know that. So it's just a matter of being patient. And like I said, with Malcolm, he was patient all of those years when he continuously kept going with his shows, even at the hardest time.
Right. Yeah. And dude, XICW, little story is I knew XI, but I was because I'm up in the Port Huron area, and I was going to BWCW shows for a little bit. And
Andrew Darcy's things, right?
Yep. And I was going there for a little bit, and Billy Ray Daniels was with Levi Blue in Proving Ground, and I know BRD, so we went. Me and my buddies, we went, and ever since I've missed one since then. But that was because I was in Amsterdam, so that's excusable.
Well, hell, I was in Amsterdam once upon a time too with I.C.P, and I almost stayed there because I didn't want to leave.
Yeah, and neither did I. I want to go back so bad. So bad. So bad. Dude, that's amazing. Dude, thank you so much for doing this, dude. This is
No,
dude.
man, I appreciate the time. I really do, you know.
Right.
And I want to invite all your listeners and viewers to come check us out for yourselves. Look, it's real simple. We're doing our annual toy drive, Seasons Beatings, going down at L Club in Southwest Detroit on West Verner Avenue on Sunday, December the 8th, 1 o'clock bell time. So you can go on to the Impact Wrestling later on that night. I guarantee you we're going to put on a better show than that garbage. I promise you that. Hey, yeah, I said it, man. I said it. Yeah, I know we got everybody's got friends that work there, okay. But, man, they're nothing more than a glorified indie show. Straight up, man. The real deal out there, if you want to talk about the major league of wrestling, you know, AEW, you can't compare Impact to AEW.
Right.
You can't compare Impact Wrestling to MLW. You just can't do it these days. You can't. And I have a lot of friends that work there, and I love each and every one of them. But hey, man, if it's garbage, it's garbage, man. I'm just saying.
Well, at least you're an honest man, right?
And look, I mean, and this is an opinion. This is opinion coming from Rudy Hill, and it doesn't reflect anyone on Rasslin Rage or anything else. It's coming straight from Rudy Hill. So send your cards and letters right here. Anyways, though, it's an exciting show that we do every year. What we do is we adopt kids from the Detroit public schools that we find out that they cannot have a Christmas or won't have a Christmas. And last year, we were able to buy and we were able to give to 12 families. 12 families don't sound like a lot, but 12 families, we were able to go to their home. Check this out. DJ Carlito dresses in a Santa Claus suit. We pull up in the van. We deliver the gifts, and everybody's like, where's this from? And we're like, what do you mean, where's it from? It's from Santa Claus. You see him standing right here. We never ask for credit. We never ask for anything. What we do is we go to the schools in the area and we say, hey, look, could you give us a list of the names of the families that you know are not going to be able to have a Christmas? And not only do we take presents, but we also take dinner, turkey dinner. We also take all the sides.
That's amazing.
And we just, it's a good feeling, man. It's a really good feeling. So with Seasons Beatings, we invite everyone to come on out and enjoy wrestling for free, as long as you bring an unwrapped new toy for a child that may not have a Christmas. And look, we're not asking for anyone to go out and buy, Xboxes or anything like that. Man, go to Dollar Tree and buy 5 stuffed animals, because a child that is not getting anything for Christmas would appreciate anything for Christmas.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. And that's an awesome thing to do. And to even go that one step further and do the home delivery yourselves, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting, Cody. That really is, man. And we've had grown men who, just happen to be down on their luck, maybe laid off from a job or whatever, and them open the door and we tell them, hey, man, Merry Christmas. This is for Sam or whoever it is. Here's their stuff. And they're like, well, where's it from? Well, it's from Santa Claus. And then they walk us out on the porch, and we're looking at grown men crying, saying, my God, I don't know what we would have done. And we're just like, hey, man, Santa Claus hooked you up, man. Just don't forget, man, maybe one day when your ship comes in, you can do it to help someone else out in the future. What if we all did something for each other? How would this world be?
That would be an amazing world, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And I like to think that we're trying to continue that little bit of joy for someone.
That's amazing, man. And that's what you said, December 6th?
December 8th.
December 8th. December
8th at 1 p.m. And we try to fill the ring with as much toys as we can. And it's just a fun show. We've got 9 bouts. And the main event is I.C.P original and I.B.W Hall of Famer Tex Monroe against the DBA in a
Oh,
no holds barred match.
nice.
That's the main event. And MM3 is going to be there, and Big Chuck Wagon is going to be there, and
Big Chuck.
we've got such a whole host of characters that are going to be there. And all in all, it's just for a good time, and it's for a great cause.
Oh, for sure, man. That's really awesome. And me and the boys are going to do our best to get there on the 8th, for sure.
We need you there, man. We need you there.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. Listen, again, man, I want to say thank you so much for doing this, man. And dude, man, I got to tell you, man, you're a great guy. You know what I'm saying? I've never really had the opportunity to talk to you, and you know, people can have all the opinions in the world they want, but dude, if you show me love, I show you love. You know what I'm saying? That's the way the world works.
That's what we do.
Right.
That's
right.
what we do. Not to say that. Let me say this real quickly before we leave. Not to say that in the past that I wasn't a jerk or an asshole to a lot of people on my way up, but what I learned, and I like to think that I learned something in this 30-year journey in wrestling, is that you don't always have to be a jerk or an asshole to someone to. In fact, you don't have to be. You know, just be real, be honest, and be able to look a person in the eye and say, this is what it is. Like it or not, this is how it is. And again, I had to go back and apologize to a lot of people for stepping on a lot of toes. And I wasn't proud of it, and I'm still not proud of it. However, I've made peace with those people. And now the positivity energy that we have at International Big Time Wrestling, man, you can't beat it with a broomstick.
Well, and you know, that's just awesome, bro. That's just to hear that. You know, we all have to grow at some point, no matter what mistakes we made or what bad choices we made in our life. And I get that, man. I've made some bad choices in my time too, but there's a thing called redemption.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview today. Make sure you guys check them out December 8th, man. And that'll be at the L Club in Detroit, man. That's in Southwest, right, isn't it?
That's right. 1 p.m. early bell time.
All right. All right, man. Thanks, guys. Check you later.
It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage.